Okay, hi everybody, we're back. The Gretna Bill Show's back. It's been a while. So, here we are at Bear Creek Mountain Resort. We are getting ready to preview the national course coming up July 5th and 6th, I believe. And the reason why we got these guys together, it's kind of a Jamaica Soul Ride reunion, but it's a little bit more than that. We go back to when this place was Doe Mountain and the roots of downhilling and cross country, the days when we bring the same bike. I'm here with Don Hampton.
Hey.
Jay DeHay.
Howdy.
And so we all go back to the 90s. We all started off in this when it was Norba everything.
It was like 30 years ago almost that we kind of, like, we're here. I remember my first race was close to 30 years ago, and I remember Jay, he was writing a lot for Dirt Rag magazine, and I got to meet this dude, you know? And like met here at a downhill race 30 years ago.
It was 1993?
94, yeah, 94, yeah. Yeah, I was working for shooting for WGAL, and I was supposed to be at the Michigan Penn State football game, and that was the year Penn State went undefeated, went to the Rose Bowl, and I asked off for vacation months ahead of time, and I remember getting grief from people like, "You're at this race and you're not at the Michigan game?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I want to be here racing downhill." And that's where the Chain Reaction 1 and Mike Hostetler, and we'll cut in that clip, but of like some massive crashes here, and I was racing cross country and got in the beginner class and got hit by a car who was leaving the race. But yeah, a lot of memories at this venue, and just coming here and seeing you guys is like, wow, it's been 30 years.
It's legendary stuff. We've done some other video projects here. We've raced here in the 90s and the early 2000s. And
yeah, Floyd Landis, we filmed with Floyd Landis here for Gretna Bikes commercial. And then Mike Hartlove did some races here right after it changed to Bear Creek. And
absolutely.
We did some stuff. And I think there's a picture of me, you, and Kevin Liebig in Decline magazine from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then in 2013, we were here for the first 2 years of the USA Cycling USA Cycling National Championships, and here we are 10 years after that.
Yeah, I missed those days. That was like, what year was that?
2013, 14?
2013, 14, yeah. I was actually back at Penn State and full-time race dad, racing BMX with my kids. So, as some of you may not know, I stepped out of the mountain bike scene for a little bit. Not completely out, but just went from mountain bike to BMX because I had some young little rippers that we were chasing BMX with. So
we're big rippers now.
They're big rippers.
Big rippers.
Yeah. And hey, and this is Lemmy, the metal dog. Come here, Lem, say hi. He's going to be joining us. He's our trail dog. He goes for every ride, whether it's mountain bikes, BMX, or moto. So I couldn't come ride this course without him.
Lemmy wins all the sprints and hill climbs.
Yeah, he does. Downhills, he's a little slow, but, you know, we wait for him.
He's got smaller suspension.
But, yeah, Bill, thanks for inviting us.
Thanks for showing up, man. You know, the first thing we thought of, we all had this common bond with Jamaica Soul Ride. So if you guys haven't seen that, go back and check that out. It's on the Gretna Bill Show. It's one of the podcasts that we did, and it's pretty cool viewing. And so yeah, when I started talking to everybody, I said, man, this is a perfect time for us to get together. We almost had Lars over here, right?
He talked about it. He was going to be the mystery guest.
Nah.
Yeah, he's still working full time, I guess. We're almost semi-retired, all of us guys. So
that's when Downhill Dom, we started it all the early 90s, man. And you know, we said this before, but the race we had there, the downhill race, it was you and Lars and Todd Bosch, Jay, and
I think I beat you in that race.
You may have.
It was the one time I beat Jay DeJesus, and that was like, yeah. You had a target on your back for me for a long time. And just getting to know you was a big target, and then actually getting to ride with you, and then finally the clock said I beat you in one race. Like, I'll cherish that forever.
That's awesome.
That was like one of the Pinch Pond downhill races up there, Mount Gretna.
Yeah, Gretna.
Yeah, one of your early races.
Yeah,
That's
for
when
sure.
I met you, yeah.
There's so much history in this group and at this mountain, and it encompasses East Coast mountain biking's origins to global to
till we've been all over the world since then.
Yeah,
you know,
literally.
racing and riding bikes, and literally, and yeah, it's so good. Such a nice day here at Bear Creek. We were fortunate enough to hook up with Steve and Gary. Gary's the promoter and the events director here, and Steve took us out on his quad, and we went and he previewed the whole course.
Yeah, they gave us a nice little site survey. So what we're going to do is you can see we have GoPros. We're going to go out and do the loop, and we're going to find spots and kind of talk about what this course has to offer, the cross-country people, and kind of talk about line options, talk about spots where there is no line options, and you just got to suck it up and roll the dice and see what happens, and just enjoy this. It's a short course. It's punchy, but it's going to be fun.
It's very, very technical. It's East Coast rocks, and Many of you folks have seen this course in the Nationals previously. Some folks are luckily from the Mid-Atlantic, they can race here or ride here a lot. And a lot of folks don't get to come here that aren't from around here. And if you had raced here in the past for the Nationals, it's a slightly different course. So there's a bunch of changes that are really cool. And at least now you're gonna be able to get to see them. We're gonna preview them and show you guys what's new and what's tough and how to get around it.
So, you know, up on the hill behind us is going to be the start finish as usual. And there's going to be a little grassy prologue. And then we're going to come back in and go into the woods up here. That's what we did on the night race last year at Bear Creek, and it's been popular ever since. So that's where we're going to kind of start. So that'll lead us into a new section of berms done by your buddy, right? Dirt Sculptors, Dave King?
Dave King of Dirt Sculpt makes a lot of trails and pump tracks and down courses all over the U.S. And he was luckily brought in here to make some really cool changes, and we're anxious to go check them out, show them to you guys.
All right, well, good. Let's stop talking, man. Let's go ride.
Let's go ride.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
I want to be on the e-bike because I'm carrying a big, heavy camera pack, and I'm out of shape too. So I'll be on the e-bike, and Lemmy's going to be bringing up the rear on the downhills and leading us up the climbs.
I'm racing gravel Saturday, 60 miles, so I'm going to be a little bit of a wimp. But yeah, let's do it.
His legs going.
All right, I'm just previewing it for my lead moto duties here.
So hopefully we'll have a lead moto like the old Norba days.
Yeah.
And also reminded me, I went to so many qualifiers and racing, which they don't have so much anymore, under Norba. And every other time, I swear, I show up, everybody go, hey, Jay's out there building the dual solemn course. Remember that?
Yeah.
You built so many courses, man. West Virginia, you helped out on
Seven Springs.
I built courses here too that Floyd Landis, Gunnar Sjogren, Eric Gebhard, Tom Ways was a local guy who raced for Turner back in the day.
Turner Burner.
He's a legendary skier. But yeah, we've all been in this stuff for a long time, and thankfully, we're still doing it.
Let's go get it. Yeah, man.
So let's show you what to expect, and let's all have some fun.
So this is the start area here. Okay.
So the prologue is up there in the field, start finish line to my left. And after you do that prologue, we head up to the first new section that you hit right away. And then leading the way. So after the prologue up in the field, the race comes around here, and this is where it hits the single track, and you can see the berms right ahead of us. This is new. So we're gonna session here a bit.
Okay. Go ride it. What do you think, Jay? Is this where Dave King built this?
This is one of Dave King's sets of berms. We're gonna be coming full tilt sprint. If the grass is wet, it's gonna be a crazy shutdown of speed to set up, and then right into these berms, tight berms. And then the exit of the berms is a hard left on gravel. So it's gonna be dicey at speed. You're gonna be flying through here. Good stuff.
Cool.
Selection to get into the single track, into the berms. It's one line right out of the start, so you're going to be
So out of the prologue, you got to get up front.
You got to get up front. It's going to be tight. So I mean, that's the whole shot. That may make your selection, or if you're confident, you can pull it up through. These people that are going to the front may blow it up, and they'll blow this part out, and then halfway through the lap, they may blow their load. So
the other thing too is that's not that fast. Like with the rollers and his berms, it's gonna be single file, and it's not like a BMX or slalom. It's like it's a tight switchback through there. So
yeah,
you got to check your speed because it'll be easy to come in there a little giddy, and then your giddy up is going to be getting down.
And you're definitely gonna have to be elbows up.
Yeah,
getting into that thing on and to make your
yep.
to try and find your position. That's going to be an interesting section.
The key for this is keep your eyeballs at the exit of the berm. Don't focus on your front wheel. Don't focus on the berm. You got to exaggerate your head and look towards the exit, because your bike's going to follow your eyes, and your bike will go where you're looking. So the key for these tight S turns is focus at the exit of every berm and set up early.
And also, going into the berm, Jay always has some good advice, which is counterintuitive to a certain extent. You want to expound on that a little bit?
Don just said a lot of it right there is looking ahead. And
well, when you come into it, you kind of come in, right?
Good point. So these are bermed corners, and a lot of folks that aren't used to cornering on berms, their tendency maybe to slot down to the inside and not get up on the wall and rail. And you kind of want to, if you're going to rail, you want to run the radius. That's going to be different in the woods on some stuff we looked at this morning, but the radius on the berms is usually the fastest part where you can maintain speed. The berm is going to change your trajectory to keep you online, and so you can use the press of the berm to get you around. It's going to be fast as heck.
So right when you're coming into it, you're almost going up, shading to the left. You're going left in it. If it's a right-hand berm, you want to set up left and get high up on it.
I would say you want to start outside and run the rail. Don't chop the inside.
Yeah.
But don't be too high and don't be too low. You want to kind of be in the like middle to upper 2/3 of it.
Absolutely.
Because if you get too high or too low, you're going to get into the marbles.
That's a big point here. It's a lot of marbles in there. It's really hard packed ground, and then it's going to get skidded up. It's really dry today. There's a big Mid-Atlantic Super Series race here this weekend, and the ground is so dry, it's probably going to get torn up pretty good, and then we'll see what kind of marbles develop, because the ground is super dry.
Here, Bill, I'll give you a push. Save those legs. You want that? Is that good?
Yeah.
Grab your ass.
A super tight corner after that switchback.
Did you just wad it up there almost?
No, I had to brake and then foot out because I wasn't sure which way to go.
Yeah.
But the arrow's going this way.
Yep, we're going the right way.
That's gonna be tough.
Oh, very marbly in here. Small to medium-sized rocks. Some are impacting the ground, other ones aren't. Punchy little climb. And I don't know where my dog got to. Yeah, Bill. This is beautiful in here, so lush.
This is an old section. We ran this back in 1989 on the XC. This is a very old trail.
So this is trail number 1, I guess, on their map, right?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure that. It is a little wide. We've got passing.
And being on a 29er, you can roll a lot of that stuff.
I don't know that this is on.
So strike that stuff I said about rolling over those big rocks there, because that was off the course. Yep. Let your big wheels roll. So does it go back into the berm? Yeah. Yep.
All right, we just came on some old trail, and now we're dropping into the new berms section. And it's got some roller pump doubles here. Again, chin ahead. You want to get your weight on that front wheel, leaning with your knees, elbows high, rolling these tight berms. A little roller there. This is the first time seeing it for us, so we're learning too. Fresh cut into some rocks. Rolling through.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Bumble clock.
Oh yes, Don and I are following the original blood clot. So, nice to have a flat corner here. You guys will and we blew the corner already. We screwed up, Bill. We trusted you.
Go back up and look. All right, boys. We're right around the tree. We're up, back up. Get out of the saddle and jam.
Oh, sorry, Don.
That's all right. I have to hit by bigger branches. This is a fun little section of trail. I like it. It's kind of natural.
Yes.
Man-made, but that's some natural ways to do it.
Oh, some punchy climbs.
Yep. Stay left here at this fork.
If this gets wet, Don, this is going to be slimy.
Some of those corners are pretty tight, aren't they?
Yeah,
No,
pretty tight.
I like there's that little rock jump, and then they have a little dirt landing after that, so you could double into that one if you're carrying some mo.
Exactly.
That's fun, but yeah, those are tight berms.
Look at Jay. Is he going to go high side up here? You see that?
All right, so there's a couple line options into this. Let's take a peek. So you can roll in, and you can straight shot through here, or you can take the main line, which is down here. But I like this, at the Exodus berm is a big boulder.
It's going to probably go low. Their high line.
You can go off this rock here, but I don't know if it really does anything. It's more just, it looks cool, but it's not functional. And this is a tight slasher berm into like some rollers. And then back out. Some more rollers. Let's come back up and take a look at that.
If you decide to take the outside entrance, it puts you inside, and you've got a killer BMX passing opportunity right here low.
This is like Supercross motorcycle. You can do the low high or high low, and there could be here's the intersection point right here. There's gonna be some carnage here, and somebody's gonna get punted possibly over the backside of this berm, and it's steep, and you go down into those rocks and onto the trail below. So you want to be careful on this one too. You got to make sure you're protecting your inside. And if you're outside, yeah, this is a spot. If it's, first place is on the line, last lap,
Oh yeah.
this could be a pimping corner.
So Don, to that exact point, here in 2014, Jeremiah Bishop and who won the Nationals the last time?
Oh, good question.
I forget the guy's name. BMC rider. Jeremiah and he had been going at it all year, and then I was lead moto, and I had my sighting points, and those guys would just whale each other with elbows, fighting for a single track. No. So I had my sighting spots on the lead moto, so I could actually watch some stuff take place. I think potentially on the last lap, if they're coming in and those guys or ladies are tight, going for the national championships, this is a really good decision maker, because if you can knife inside someone very easily here, you got pumps, and everyone's gonna be so skilled they can accelerate coming out of this and through these berms, and they're hunting the finish.
Down here, I can tell you that. Once you get out of it.
This is a good spot for passing.
Yeah, man. Bumble clot. Bumble red.
Yes, Don and I are following the original blood clot. Nice, have a flat corner here.
No, we go right here. Lemmy had it right.
Screwed up though.
Let's go back up and we'll hit it again. Take 2 on this. So we're riding the course right now with no ribbons, so here's the thing with these e-bikes. Watch this. This is the hardest part I really hate, is when you go do something like this, it kicks in after the apex.
It's like Erzberg Enduro.
Yeah. Yep. Hard right around this tree, and we're up, back up. Get out of the saddle and jam.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I've been hit by bigger branches. This is a fun little section of trail. I like it. It's kind of natural, but man-made, but has some naturalness to it. Yep. Stay left here at this fork.
If this gets wet, Don, this is gonna be slimy.
Yeah, keeping your back end planted into the ground. You want to be out of the saddle grinding, but if it's slippery, you're gonna lose some traction. So yeah, you want to maintain that weight distribution.
And then the exit right to the beach.
It's a big brown trout in there probably.
Better taste.
This is the urban section of the race course.
Circulate the beach.
Yeah.
And looking for that junction.
Yeah, we go left here, I believe. Yep, I see a sign up here. Come on, Lem. Let's wait. Hey, let's wait for Bill. Hey, bud, stay here. Come.
Now we're continuing into the lap and going on to original Bear Creek terrain here. So this is the same climb you guys have done to the Nationals and to the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, we avoided the lodge just because we're not sure how the routing's going to be down there. We don't want to mislead anybody. And also, they're open for business right now, so between bikes and the dog, just staying away from there. But yeah, this is classic in here. Loose climb, very dry right now. What? A lot of high rocks for pedal strikes. Yeah, Bill.
Watch that one. That's a sniper.
Sniper.
Stuff like this, high speed. It's great. You use your dropper just about an inch on the flash through the rocks, just to give a little bit of clearance. It can be faster than being at full speed.
Oh, we got kids up here and people. Hopefully they're not scared of the dog. It is a puppy. He's good. He's good. Let's go, bud. Come on, Lem. He's the fat.
Electric.
This one is.
Enjoy.
Oh, because I'm carrying all the gear. I'm the Sherpa. Come on, Lem. Let's go. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to be in your way with my big backpack and electric bike.
Oh, are you killing me?
Well, I'm just thinking for visuals. Man, I wish I would have had this 20, 30 years ago, this e-bike to get around on. Those times in Jamaica, riding with all this gear, suffering with you guys in the middle of February, being out of shape and just going right into the tropics and riding.
Right.
Oh, I almost lost my front wheel there.
Area.
Oh yeah, that is an old mine, isn't it? A sinkhole.
Old iron mine.
Is that what was here? It was an iron mine.
Old iron mine. Wide. You can either recover or you're going to punch it and pass people through here.
Isn't that Bill's nickname, Old Iron Mine? Lemmy's starting to slow down. Good boy, Lemster.
Stop at every water hole for the pup.
Yeah, this is a good spot too to kind of like, you're either going to get relax here and catch your breath and or you're going to attack here. So depending what your fitness is on a trail section like this is where you can make up a lot of time. You can hammer here, or you can actually recover if you're starting to cramp or getting stiff or just fatigued. This is a good spot to just kind of chill. It's also a good spot to get on the gas and then put your competition in the hurt locker.
So to your point, Don, during the USA Cycling National Champs, Jeremiah Bishop and his counterpart, they were slugging it out through here on the front of the pack, trying to establish that position because it's going to go to single track on the climb. I was on the lead moto, so I had my sighting spots up here. Their course switches back. I would get ahead and shut my motor off and listen and sight those guys and listen to their back and forth when they were going at it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what they're saying, but they were going for it. It was really, really impressive. It's I'm gracious and grateful to have been lead moto because I get to get a unique perspective while doing my job as a race lead.
Yeah, this is also a section too. If you're out front, you're going to, you can be patient where you can pick off some lappers. That's a good spot to weed through the slower part of the field too. So it's a good spot to pass if you're out front and you want to put some riders between you and your competition that are off the back.
Absolutely. Right here. Ooh.
I'm not sure.
Let me
I think we stay on one.
Oh yeah, one.
Didn't he say we go to 2 at one point?
But that's further up.
That's further up?
Yeah. Let me just sight this real quick.
No, right there's the sign right there. Yep.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Sign's right there. See where my Focus X glove is pointing? Right there. Yeah, that's gratuitous product placement. This section brought to you by Focus X Gear. We'll be releasing in the next year. I'm prototyping, not currently, but I'll be prototyping some mountain bike gear for Focus X coming up soon. So if anybody out there is looking for a sponsorship, FocusXGear.com. We're doing some really killer motocross and off-road dirt bike stuff, but we'll be transitioning into the pedal mountain bike world relatively soon. So Jay, I'll get you set up with some prototype gear. You can test for us.
Fantastic. And that's just East Coast rocks and roots and red and national caliber tested, hey?
Yeah. You know what I'd like to call it? I'd like to call it Eastern Woods Research, but that name's been taken already by some legendary dude. That guy right there. Right there.
Back in the day, got my...
Dude, I always thought that name of your company was so cool. It was like, you're not just out like road riding, that's what it was, but you made it sound so official and clinical, like Eastern Woods Research. We go out in our white lab coats and we're testing.
I think I was lucky enough to have some kind of born in. There's a little bit of marketing acumen, and I was able to use that stuff.
Yeah, you were a pro on and off the bike, and that's where like a lot of people could ride well, but they don't know how to market themselves. And you were one of the pioneers in self-marketing and leveraging media. And at that point, media was printed magazines, and you had such a presence on the East Coast with Dirt Rag, and then with your brand and things like that. Like, you were so ahead of the curve in using what limited resources you had to promote yourself in a cost-effective way.
You're absolutely right. I grew up in BMX and always wanted to have my own company. I always got in trouble in school designing and drawing, doodling and bike frames instead of doing math homework. And
your frames were awesome. They had the high bottom bracket, short rear end, so you could power through like these baby head rocks. You had the short rear end, so it was flickable. But your bikes were ahead of the game geometry-wise and stuff. And it was just like, I always looked at them and I wanted one, but at the point it's like, you weren't cutting anybody any break on anything. And I wasn't at the point too where I would need to be sponsored back then, but I was like, man, I love one of those bikes, but man, I just got married. I was out of college. I was like, how can I afford to spend that much on a frame? But it was worth it. I'm looking back.
I appreciate that.
Regret, I would have bought one of those. I had the chance to take one of your bikes after Jamaica. You left one at my house, and I was like, I'm going to give it back. I could have kept it, but I was like, that's going to be wrong to me. And I was thinking, that's also the one he jumped into the water, so I was like, I don't want that frame. And I had Van Dyne's bike for a while, too. Nick Van Dyne.
Oh, yeah.
At my house for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, no, I think that was the one you gave to him, wasn't it?
May have been his.
Yeah. Those were the days when bikes were breaking a lot.
Yeah.
And Eastern Woods was so cool when I met Jay, and we started carrying them in the shop. And the thing we'd always say was, dude, what's the strongest shape, geometric shape that bikes have? It's the triangle.
Yep.
And basically, Jay, your bike was like 3 triangles, right?
Yeah, had
triangle,
front triangle had 2.
Yeah, you look at other brands who did that. GT did it in a different way with like that little triangle by their seat mast.
Yeah.
And then Cannondale did it with their Delta Vs as well. So it's definitely a super efficient, you know, super strong design for sure.
And I was from a BMX background, and in the 80s and early 90s, everything looked like road bikes.
Yeah.
And they were
That's all they were, really. They're like modern day gravel bikes.
And they were very flimsy, and and back then as well, we were doing all the events on the same bike.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to make, strong BMX looking bikes. How you guys doing?
Oh, well, how you doing?
All right. Bear Creek spectators are everywhere in the woods here getting ready for nationals. Looking for the Heckle Pit.
But yeah, I remember too, I think you had a 235 tire on it.
I did.
You know, like 235 back then was like massive. Now it's like, it's a skinny tire.
Yeah, we were very trials oriented back then. And
Going to Candy Town, I remember that.
Oh,
Motorama Indoor Bicycle Trials.
Oh, yeah.
The motorcycle event there.
We had XC at Candy Town, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beaver Cross. Hans Ray.
We were
Was
fortunate.
it Sean Miller?
Sean Miller, Jeff Lanowski.
Yeah, JJ Gregorovic.
Oh, those guys are all legends.
Yeah.
National champions.
Yep. Lance Trappy.
Yep. So we, all 3 of us here, were lucky to have grown up through the formative years of mountain biking, and not on the West Coast. It was harder, different roots of the culture out here, because it didn't get the press until Maurice and Elaine brought Dirt Rag, and that's what helped. All right, Don, we just finished ascending the climb out of the base area, switchbacky, little punchy sections in there, and then that dumps you. That's really single track there, not a ton of passing after that section of Iron Mine railroad grade.
Yeah.
And then you jump out onto here.
So this is another section too. If you're in shape, you could put some separation between you and competition here. Like out of the saddle, this isn't a lot of elevation here. Especially if you're used to riding at elevation, you're going to have a lot more strength. So is this the highest point right here we're getting to?
I think this might be the highest point of the course. Right here.
Yeah, let's come over here. Well,
There's a good view over the, on the side here. You want to have the background or nah?
yeah, we just do it here in the woods. So where are we at?
top of Bear Creek Mountain.
Yeah, it's the highest point. What's the elevation here? Like 14,000?
1,400 maybe.
1,400.
If that.
If you jump up and down real high.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing about I learned to ski here too.
I learned to snowboard here.
Yeah.
With Brian Butler from Grip Shift.
Yeah, I don't even know if snowboarding was invented when I learned how to ski back in like the 80s, but
It wasn't when I was, for sure.
But I remember skiing, but yeah, it was like, there's a ski resort on that little hill, but there's a lot of fun stuff on this place.
I got my long hair stuck in the rope toe thing. Well, not on the pole wheel, but like on the handle. Yeah. After the peak of the climb, again, knifes into single track. This is kind of rolling downhill single track, so it'd be a good place to drop your saddle just a little bit, give you some space to absorb, but still have extension for your pedaling. Even an inch down can make a big difference. We're following Bill here. Use light in the saddle, light on the hands. Leaning, rolling the berm.
Yeah, Jay, you caught like an inch of air.
Get it where you can get it.
This, I think, was part of one of Hartlove's downhill tracks.
Absolutely, I do remember this. And this is also gone, same, that was on the cross-country course from the last national championships. You guys that have been here may remember crossing this tree line, making a short lefty, and then right into the woods.
Come on, meathead.
Sorry,
I was going to take that line too.
Ah,
Bill missed the line.
Bill wasn't
Lemmy's
watching.
got it. Lemmy's got it. Go, Lem.
So we got
Go,
the
Lem.
inside and outside here. Don's probably going to fade to the
I'm
inside.
going to take the inside and cut you off. And take the inside right there.
So it's going to be tight in the pack here. This is going to be some heavy pack racing. Don's showing out with this heavy pack on his back.
You want to go back and look at that again and talk through that section? All right, so what Jay and I just did from our helmet cam perspective, we'll just talk about it. Are you on?
On.
So what you and I just did here, let's kind of break this down a little bit. So you come into this corner, and this is your first descent after reaching the apex of the mountain. And there's an inside-outside line coming into this corner. And another great spot for passing and you know, in Supercross, high-low, low-high. So the trail has a nice little left-hand corner and then a right-hand down there. Has good optical flow to it, but the shortest line between two distances is straight, correct?
It's absolutely correct.
So you could take this inside left line, unless they tape it, but I'm not sure they will. You
I
can
have a
straight
feeling
shot
they're
it.
going to keep it open.
Yeah, so you could go, there's like this triple tree, little sapling here. You could stay to the left of this triple tree like I did, and you could come down, roll through this a little bit, and you got this inside line here, which is kind of marbly. There's, you know, you'll see like some loose rocks, but it sets you up well. You don't have to be up here on this one. But at the same time, you could take that line that Jay took, that he's standing on now, and you could then flow through that as well too. But if you're doing that, you got to make sure you're leaving your inside door wide open.
So to Don's point there, it's a difference in style for the corner because it leaves you options. And what I liked about my outside lines is on the outside, we've got an established, it's small, but it's a berm. So it's a pressable, it's a wall. You can hang onto that wall and it shoots you, it changes your apex into the next wall. It's a solid berm. If you take the insides, the only risk you have, it's a faster, straighter line, but it's where all the rubble is going to be. So it's going to be, it could be pretty dicey down in the bottom of the berms. It kind of depends how you can control it.
And Lemmy's leaving some rubble right over your shoulder. He's leaving a little roll, but it's off the course, little roller. But you want to roll through this again, and we'll do the same type of thing?
Absolutely.
All right. Bill, you want to film us coming through?
Everybody gets to be Claudio these days.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is going to be open up here too. No.
I don't know.
Because we came from over that
we
berm.
came from over there and across, yeah. All right, I'm still rolling, so.
I think I might.
Yeah, you were still rolling. So yeah, we're gonna demonstrate this at super slow pace this time. So Jay, why don't you get in front of me?
Okay. So I'm gonna roll my outside, really getting on the berm early, but
And
Don's gonna pick me on the inside.
and throw him an elbow and kind of skid a little bit through these marbles. But then, this is a tight little, you gotta watch your handlebars and you got a ninja line through that.
Left, left, left.
So anybody gets a spot there, you owe me a beer by teaching you that little passing spot.
One thing that's going to make one variable that may be here. You never know how much rain we're going to get here. We're unbelievably dry. It's dusty and dry, and the ground is really, really dry. It's going to get real broken up in the race this weekend. This could get really slimed up by the time 4th of July weekend comes around for the Nationals. And these lines could get rutted. They can change a whole lot. This could be super high humidity, sweating rocks, and super slimy
Like
by
it
then
usually
too.
is, like it was in 013.
You say sweating rocks, that actually does happen. The rocks get condensation and they become slippery even on the hottest days, and it's like,
Oh, even more so.
yeah, it's crazy.
And then the slick dust on the roots becomes
Yep.
like ice.
Yep. That's East Coast, brother. It's East Coast.
Eastern Woods Research.
Yeah, man.
We may not have the elevation, but we've got some slick rocks.
Yep. It's fun.
You know, the first 29er I bought was an EWR.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
That sounds appropriate.
That lime green model.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
love that freaking bike.
Absolutely. That's good stuff.
good
Sheffer
stuff.
had it then too for a while.
Yeah.
All right, what's after this? Oh, we got some more single track?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. You guys still rolling? Go ahead.
Yep. Go ahead, Bill.
Come on, Iron Mine, Bill. Old Iron Mine.
The inside on Bill, trying to take any line he's not.
That PVC pipe's kind of weird. Whoa, get a little loose there, Billy. Drop it in. Hey, let's talk about this. There's a split here, right?
Yeah.
We got a split.
So Don's gonna walk it back. I'm gonna stay right here.
So you're coming out of this section of woods right here. You get to this ski slope. You're gonna come here and you see what this sign says. If you're pro Cat 1, you go that way. If you're a Cat 3 or 4, you go that way. So let's look at the pro line and
So
Cat 1 line.
The Pro Cat 1s,
And Cat 2. So pro, Cat 1, Cat 2 are gonna make a left and do a little climb right there up to where Jay and Bill are at.
And into the Heckle Pit.
And
you
into the Heckle Pit.
you guys are gonna be screaming out of the woods here and looking right at this line, and Don's walking up in front of me here. It's gonna be off camber in the grass and potentially in the slime, and you're gonna wanna be shifting as you're coming down before you get into this so you can power up this thing at speed and get up over the top.
Yeah, because it goes up and around. So we're gonna follow that from here.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever snowboard here?
I've never snowboarded. I only skied here when I was a teenager in high school, and that was back in the 80s. That's showing how old I am,
Yeah.
or we are, yeah. And it was always so icy, very hard pack.
Very antiquated that thing.
Yep,
Are you on?
I'm on. All right, so Heckle Pit, is this what this heads to? So what happens in the Heckle Pit?
This is the run-in for the most famous part of this course. So, after you've topped out all of that stuff, you gotta have some gas, because this is notoriously rocky through here. Don's making the pass.
No, I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
It's multi-line, extremely bony, and wide.
I want to pass Bill here.
Nope.
We're up, big rock. It's hard to see with the dust kicking up. Those rocks kind of come out of nowhere, just a little bit of dust as slow as we're going. Imagine you're in a line of riders coming through here and it's dusty. There's gonna be a lot of little things that could grab your pedals.
A ton of sniper rocks up here, Don.
Yeah, man. Just flow, keep your pedals level, do those ratchet cranks if need be.
This is where the crowd is going to be on fire, Don. There's going to be probably 60% of the spectators are going to be in this zone because there's a lot of attacks. You're getting close to the end of the lap, and it's technical. This is a cool technical shoot. This is the loudest place on the lead moto. I cannot hear my engine through here ever. It's really hard in this section because of that.
In downhill, we used to call them vultures. This is where people want to see corners. They'll help you pick up. In GNCC, they're called like the mud fleas. People do that. Yeah, this is where, if you want to see some action, both good and bad, this is the place to be. This is fun.
This is always the place to be. We're pretty close to the lodge. There's going to be a lot of people here with drums, noisemakers, trumpets,
air horns. Yeah,
it's
you get the guys with like the sticks and the bike rims.
It's bananas.
Yeah, chainsaws probably.
Yeah, it's I think Georgia Gould and some other national folks always commented on how lively Bear Creek was compared to the other nationals and World Cups in the U.S.
All right, Chainsaw Don, I'm calling you out. You should be here. That's not me. There's a Chainsaw Don from PA.
There it is.
He's famous for.
Yeah.
So what's the line through here?
All right. So I haven't been here since 2014 in the last race, but you can see there's insides and outsides here, and depending who you're around and who you're trying to pass, it's going to set you up for where you either want to be or don't want to be. But the whole thing is fading off to the left, rocky, chunky. It could be super slimy, so you have to have a light touch on the brakes, whether it's going to be slimy as heck or dusty like it is today. At the bottom of this short chute, and there's going to be a pretty tricky little tech rock section that's going to be made 100% harder by the amount of people that are focusing in on you trying not to screw it up. So it's a pretty tech turn. At the last Nationals, we climbed out of here. I was told we're going more flat, a different route out. So this is going to be new just after the Heckle Pit, so we're going to check it out.
All right, I'll try to follow you through it, and then we'll go back and we'll dissect this a little bit.
All right, let's check it out.
You know, I have a big backpack on, so hopefully I'm not on the ground like a turtle with that on my back. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we're dropping in. My saddle's pretty low.
Whoa, I'm off trail already. Wow, this is pretty tech right here. Like a lot more tech than I thought for an cross country, but this is East Coast. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Really tech. You see Bill coming down through there, but it's kind of steep, but you got these rocks that there isn't a natural smooth line to roll over. So I'm kind of, yeah, this is interesting. I like it. Way to go, Bear Creek. Hey Jay, do you want to, Jay, show us how it's done. I'll film you here.
Got it.
It's easier to film than it is to ride.
Especially with the backpack.
Yeah, and not seeing it before, and I didn't want to put my face into one of these rocks.
That's pedal.
What's that? Show me.
Right there. You know, I was doing that line, but that's a way to hit your pedal.
All those little scratches on that rock. Yeah,
that's a pedal.
There's a lot of pedal grabbers in here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So there's two lines. There's this line up here, and then there's a line over here. We'll see which one Jay takes. Rolling.
Yep. The inside line here sets you up for the outside through these rocks around the tree.
That tree.
And then put it coming up out.
Man, that's close on that tree.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Handlebars on that tree there on that outside line, but that's the smoothest. You can see what the rocks look like here, and looking up the trail always makes it look gnarlier, but coming right through here, let me turn around so you see what his rider weighs. So coming into this, looking at it, you have outside line there, an inside line here, but right where the dog just passed, there's a pointy rock right there that could grab you. You get sucked into with your crank arms, clip a pedal, especially if you're clipped in, which I'm sure everyone is going to be. But, you know, I think the line that Jay took out here is the way to go. So come out here. But man, you'll see it right there. There's a lot of strikes on this tree from handlebars clipping that. You clip a handlebar and then your face is going to be in that rock right there. So yeah, definitely a very tech section. You can also see on this rock right here, there's a lot of pedal strike marks on this too, a lot of little white scratches and stuff. Yeah, Jay, you made that look easy, bro.
It's easy when you're here by yourself and with you guys. So there's going to be 1,000 people screaming in your face during the race when you come through here. So this is going to be pretty tough, and you're not going to be at a casual pace. You're going to be pinned. This is hard East Coast riding.
A lot of pride on the line here too, right?
You can flub the entire course, but you got to look good where the spectators are.
Yep. Jay and I are going to go through, so I'm going to run behind him just so I can be nimble and watch him pick his way through, trial style.
I'm going to try not to put my feet down. This is going to be your exit to the Heckle Pit, and it's tough. Again, there's be people in your face here, and it's really rocky coming out of here. So it's a hard climb. All right, so you're going to be flipping, hopefully, and you're rolling up around this corner, trying to get on the gas. And it's tough. It's rocky. It's got these nannies here. I'm going to stay on it. Yeah. And getting out. Want to write the seat down.
All right, so what just went down there?
Bill and I sessioned the AB line to kind of test to see how different they were. The A line is a straight shoot. It's definitely faster. If it's wet, it's going to be a little dicey in there. Again, it could rain a ton between now and Nationals. It's a steep line, as you saw through our ride through. The B line's a little more gradual, but it's in grass, so that could be wet too. But this thing is slick and steep coming down through. So this weekend for the Mid-Atlantic Super Series race, it'll be dry and fast. Who knows what it's going to be like during the Nationals, but it's definitely faster.
So there's one line through there, right? When you go through the woods, and then like when you come off that steep spot, right away there's like a V-rock that you got to get your tires between.
Yes.
My prediction is that's going to get rutted out from people skidding through that. So as the laps go on and as this course gets worked in, you got to be cognizant of that. And right after that, you have that kind of man-made couple rocks. It's up and over a root. Yep. So it's almost like a rocky roller. So there's one line over that as well too.
I think you're absolutely right. That's going to be like a slot after this weekend because it's so dusty. It's going to get cut up deep. I think everyone's going to take that line. During Nationals, it could be a lot different, like you're saying. It leads you one line, one funnel into the jump before the tree, and that's it's going to be tough. I bet it's going to be a little sketchy because of its tightness.
Yeah, this mountain and this course has a lot of passing room, but then there's other areas where there's not. So that's the situation too, having some course knowledge and know you want to be first to that punchy climb to get to there, because if you're on somebody's wheel and they're not that good of a bike handler, that's going to affect where you're at. So you want to race to these spots, so a little bit of knowledge. So yeah, that's one of those spots you're not going to be able to pass. And if you're on someone's rear wheel, or if you're not comfortable with someone in your rear wheel, that could be a section that's going to ball you up. And if someone goes down in front of you, you're done. You're done. You're going to lose a lot of time there.
I think you're out.
Oh, I'm still good.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a punchy race course. It's not long, drawn-out climbs. So it's a punchy fight for single track, for wheel in front of wheel, for passing, and there's going to be a lot of foot down, a lot of jam ups in the pack. It's going to be a tough race. It's definitely national caliber of its own right.
Yeah, it's like a long short track.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. It's almost like a dirt criterium, but just a little bit longer and a lot more technical. So right after this is like, as you can see, we're almost at the bottom. You can see the lodge down there. We're going to take the single track down, and it's going to go into the start-finish corral, and we're going to be done. And we'll catch up with Bill Gentile down there.
All right. Enjoy.
Let's make it happen. I'll follow you down. Okay. Once again, straight shot. Watch out for these water bars. Big jump. Woo! There you go.
Good place in shape.
All right, guys, good job. We did 1 lap at a super slow pace. Dog kind of took some good lines. Lemmy Dog, you did a good job. He's laying under the table here.
Good job.
But, yeah.
I was with him. He was getting some shade up there while you guys were filming that last section. So what'd you think in there, Kay?
The A line was definitely faster. We were just decompressing about it, and it's but it's also tech. I think it's gonna get really rutted out from the race this weekend, and so for nationals it can be a little bit sketchy. It's only, I think, it's a little bit slower than the B line, or a little bit faster than the B line. The B line doesn't seem to be too much slower, but it also depends on how they tape it, and how it's going to be may or may not be slick in the grass.
And how tight, because your tires, you know, I don't know how much bite they're going to get through that tall grass. So it would help actually if it's a little bit wet, so you can get a little bit, but when it's dry grass like this, it actually is just as slippery as if it is wet.
Absolutely.
So that line, depending how they have it taped and mowed and stuff, I don't know. It's hit or miss, but as I was saying, that's a spot where you get somebody in front of you who comes off a pedal, crashes.
Yeah.
You know, that could be a logjam section because there's one line and one line only through that.
Before you get to it, you know, we had to climb a little bit. There was that steep drop that came out of nowhere. When we finally got through the Heckle Pit section, we got through the rocks and we came out on the trail, out on the ski slopes, and then we went in again. That was a steep freaking drop in there, dude. That caught me by surprise a little bit.
I remember that from the last USA Cycling Nationals here. That was a pretty neat spot, and it was always a good fight because everyone gets balled up in the Heckle Pit, so it's usually pretty dicey coming through there. And another section I liked when you came out of that, before the climb, before we got to the A-B split, that punchy, rubbly climb, depending how they tape that, you're going to be on the marbles or you're going to be on the grass, but either way you're going to have to be on it to get to the A-B split. And then the downhill we just did coming out of the A-B split, that's going to be in grass, and that you're going to be flying on.
Oh, that is so much fun. And then the crowd here at the bottom, especially last lap, and you hear people cheering. Dude, that's going to be fun. I like the way they have this finish because it's a high-speed finish. It's not like some of the, the climb where you're like grinding in a slow-paced climb to the finish. It is like who can let off the hooks and control their speed and not wad in those corners, because there's like some slick, grassy corners. So that's actually, hats off to these guys. They did a really nice job with, as small as this mountain is, this is a fun track.
Hats off to Gary Klein. We've known him for years. He's been here since the beginning, minus a couple of years in there, and he works with John Miller. John Miller does the timing. Mid-Atlantic Super Series John Miller, and those guys have been really working hard for several years now, and this is kind of another culmination of their work here.
Yeah, Bear Creek, it's, for us, like we were saying at the beginning of this, is like 30 years-ish we've been coming here, and it's just kind of cool to see that something, how this facility's kind of grown and how it stayed the same, and how it's now become an anchor of the East Coast and having a national here. Is like, when we started, I never thought that there would be a national. Now this is like the third time when the national's been here, and it's pretty cool that like a little mountain in eastern Pennsylvania, and we were doing some research on this, and one of the stats about this place is like we are in such close proximity to close to 30% of the population in the United States is within reach of this. New York City, Philly, DC, Boston, Pittsburgh. You have the whole central East Coast could come here real easily. You're right off of some major highways. So hats off to the Bear Creek crew. They do a really nice job here.
And they really put together a really great course. This place is kind of legendary for how tough it is. Again, it's been raced since the late 80s, mid 80s here. And as the Mid-Atlantic Super Series and then the Nationals, it's a formidable national caliber event for its technical requirement. You got to be a rock rider to do well here.
A lot of the guys that did well here from the East Coast last year, or the last time I was here, 2014 and 13, it was really hot and it was raining a lot. And talking about the sweaty rocks earlier, and it was actually hotter in the canopy, I thought.
The humidity would settle in there.
And there was no air. And it got really nasty in there. And what I remember was the guys that came from this climate, which we're in right now, kind of arid, kind of Colorado, as Jay pointed out, a lot of dust and stuff. Those guys weren't liking this. Many of the guys that came across the finish line barely got through there, bloodied knees, and go, I am not coming out here again. So it's classic East Coast. It's good stuff.
And you know what else is classic East Coast? I remember coming through the Heckle Pit on the moto, besides not being able to hear a single thing from my motor on I think one of the last 2 laps was a distinct smell of pickles. Because someone, I think Topher, a local legendary single speed guy, had a gigantic bucket of pickles and was handing them out, tossing them out, dumping them out. And every lap I came through there and the place smelled like pickles. It was a cacophony of sound.
Cacophony.
And a smell of pickles.
I would have thought you were going to say there's a little smell of Jamaica in there.
Nice.
So good.
I guess you had it.
I want it. No, I want that too, probably, especially this year, you know, with the state of things in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I was hoping that we could use some Jamaica Soul Ride music soundtrack. I love that soundtrack. I don't think we'll get flagged on that one.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so what?
Just do it.
We're just going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. But man, what a great reunion. What a great day. You remember what you said was after the AB line, you think you're done climbing, but there's that really steep, and it's really deep gravel. And I quickly went, like you said, how it's taped, but I quickly went away from the gravel and got on the grass dirt.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, please do. Don't stay out of that heavy gravel, obviously.
Yeah, it depends how they tape it, and it depends what the weather and the racing does to the course between now and then. It could be a little different between now and then, but it's still going to be rocky as heck. It's going to be pretty technical, and it's going to be really good racing for sure.
Yeah, I think I've got a room. I got to talk to Gary. I think I'm coming up on the 3rd of July, and I'm just going to go up and session on the 3rd, session on July 4th, and I think we race 8 a.m. the amateurs on July 5th in the morning. I think that's a Thursday.
How many laps will you do?
We'll do Pro Cat 1, 2. We'll do 2 or 3.
And how many will you do?
I'll do 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm an old guy.
Yeah. How do you think you'll do?
I don't know. I've been racing gravel so much this spring that my skills on the mountain bike have depreciated considerably. And but I do have it in the back of my head that I went through there under some unsavory conditions, and I did it before on a 26-inch wheeled bike, and I got through it. So in my head, I can do it. So I've got it in my head that I can do it. So
you're no slouch in that technical stuff. I've ridden with you on some pretty gnarly stuff, and you get through it.
Yeah, I get through it, not gracefully like this guy.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, Bill, and a lot of guys out there, you guys have a lot of fitness coming in, and a good thing to do is not blow yourself up. So you got to be composed and relaxed through the rocks. And your fitness, you're coming off a lot of gravel racing. You got a high level of fitness. That'll help keep your heart rate down. It's up to you to control it. But I think you're gonna do well.
On those long uphill on the railroad beds, kind of double track. What I was saying, I don't know if we'll pick up on it when we edit it, but I was saying there is an important time to drink and eat because you're not going to have much chance to do that. And also soft pedaling. So what I mean by that is, you're almost pulling up and your legs are just effortlessly going because that'll get you ready for that final climb section. So don't, people are going to be flying on there, and the only thing I can say is I think that's a time when you soft pedal it and just high RPMs and just motor along and drink and eat. Don't be worried about really putting the hammer down there.
That's a good point. You got to be confident in your abilities to know when you can push and where you can recover effectively and how you can effectively soft pedal to be ready for all the punchiness that's coming after that.
I can also say too, if you're in shape and you know where your hydration and your nutrition is, when everyone else is relaxing, soft pedaling, that's a chance where you could get on the gas and make up some time too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so there's different ways of looking at that. It depends on your ability and your nutrition and your fitness coming into it. So I know like a lot of people that are ultra endurance athletes, like they strike when most people are weak. So that's a striking spot too. So yeah, depends on your philosophy and your style. But yeah, there's this, like I said, this course has a lot of options.
Are we going back to Jamaica soon?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Right. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, always good to see you.
Don, it's a pleasure seeing you again.
Yeah, man.
A real pleasure, dude. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Little bromance.
Yeah.
Hey, it's 30
That's what it's all
years,
about,
man.
30 years, man. And unlike you guys, I had absolutely no biking experience. If you'll remember, I was like a softball player, basketball player, and I got into biking when I was like late 30s, and so I was always envious. You guys on motos, on the BMX bikes, you always have had a lot of skills in it, and you can still see it now. You guys look smooth, both of you.
I say after some of the injuries, like I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. There's sections I just like. I want to.
I'm not sure who's had the most injuries between the two of you.
Well, let's not count.
Yeah,
Let's not.
it's not a pride thing.
Yeah, no.
We're just glad that we still do it.
Yeah, man.
That's the thing. Like, it's been such a passion for all of us for our whole lives, and here we are. Peace.